Drew, and welcome to Drunk on Politics. Alrighty, so today's topic of conversation, and everybody's been talking about it since the Trump administration won the elections. And drum roll, immigration.
Yes, so this, we could call this one Drunk on Immigration.
Immigration. Because it seems like everybody's drunk on immigration lately, and
Yes.
especially with the Trump administration and, you know, what he ran on, like he's going to be deporting a whole lot of immigrants, and he's going to be deporting
Illegal immigrants.
Illegal immigrants. Yes, let me go back. Deporting illegal immigrants, and they were talking about birthright citizenship. Yeah, so those were, you know,
There's a lot to unpack.
There's a lot to unpack. Since we are immigrants, Pamela and I moved to the USA in 2004 and 5. So Pam moved out here in 2004, and I moved out January 2005. We were the tender age of 22, turning 23 years old. And one of our biggest reasons why we moved, we were just bored of Johannesburg, working in finance, ready to buy our first apartment. We were both approved, you know, we were like, woo, we're going to own an apartment. We were signing our paperwork to finalize our home
ownership.
You know, we hadn't gotten an apartment by then, but we were going to start looking because we had our certificates, you know, to, hey, we got the money to buy this place, buy a place. A long story short, we were like, hey, we are only 22 years old, and this is a big commitment. Why are we doing this? And then we decided that we needed to travel. We needed to just explore the world a little bit. But coming from South Africa, especially at that time, even now, the rand is very weak against, you know, a lot of currencies out there, especially Europe and
we were planning on going to a European country. Also, of course, you know, the rand is weaker than the euro or the pound.
Or the American dollar.
Or the American dollar. So we found a program, the au pair program, and we decided, you know, let's do this. It's much cheaper. We get to live with the family, take care of their kids, and also still travel around the US. So we just did the program. Well, at least we thought, but anybody that's in the au pair program will know it fully well. But anyway, we moved out to the US, and ever since, things changed. We went from au pairs to students to green card holders.
To citizens.
And then to citizens. And so we've lived here for almost 20 years. And so we kind of understand exactly, you know, the US. And also at school, I studied American history, mind you.
But we are talking about immigration, not
yes, but I'm just saying, I also studied American history to also kind of understand more about the US. I studied the American political system because I wanted to understand America. I wanted to understand the new place that I'm living in. Because like they say, when in Rome, you do as Romans do. So now we live here.
For the last 20 years.
Yes.
So I lived in the East Coast, state New York, and Pamela was in the West, Washington State. Exactly. And then I moved to Southern California for my second year. And then on my third, we decided to stay and study in the US. So we became students. And I moved to San Francisco to complete my studies. A lot of times I hear immigrants that did it the right way say, I did it the right way. Why can't everybody do it the right way? But they forget that they come from land of privilege, from a standpoint of privilege, where their said countries are not going through war. It's just something that they want to do. They just want to leave the country. Yes, some people will say, oh, they left South Africa, because of the crime rate. Like, where in the world, where's there no crime? Where? Every single person here has got cameras now. Like, the only thing that's missing in the US for safety are electric fences.
That's true. That's true.
That's the only thing that's missing. People are getting carjacked now.
Yeah.
People are getting
at gunpoint.
At gunpoint. People, there's school shootings. You don't hear that in South Africa. You don't. And, well, I'm going off topic, but I'm just saying that someone might come and debunk, but South Africa's a dangerous country. That's why you left. No, I didn't leave because it was a dangerous country. It was never a dangerous country. I left because I was bored. I left because I thought maybe I wanted a better opportunity. Not really. I left because I was bored. But when we got to the US, we actually saw this opportunity for women of color.
Yes.
Because let me believe you me, South Africa had an apartheid system, and we were very fresh out of apartheid. So there were not a lot of recognition in women of color. The only way to make money in South Africa, if you were in a profession like banking or human resource, that's when you're making all the money. But to wake up and say, "Oh, I'm going to own a business one day," that was not something that you can actually think of and dream of. Okay, fast forward 20 years, you can dream of opening a business now in South Africa because they've pushed that narrative to open businesses, small businesses. Government has started governing small businesses. But in 2005, that was not the narrative. That was not something like a 22-year-old could even think of. So when we came to the US, we saw that opportunity. We saw that, oh my goodness, you can actually be a small business owner if you work hard enough. There's opportunity for growth. And this is in 2005.
Anyway, getting to the point of immigration.
Yes.
Okay. You kind of went off topic there, but I mean, I get where you're coming from. Getting to the point.
Yeah, but you don't seem to understand.
What don't I seem to understand?
I don't think you seem to understand. I know you're telling me I'm going off topic with immigration, but I'm talking about yeah, I think I did go off topic there for
you kind of did. You went on your own little rant there. Like we said, we've lived here for almost 20 years now.
I'll be 20 years on the 5th of January.
So I've literally passed half of my, about almost half of my life being in 2 different countries. Born and raised in South Africa for 22.5 years, and then now being here for almost 20. So I'm almost reaching that halfway point. So are you. And there's so much about immigration that we've been hearing about on TV right now. You know, there's now the new ankle bracelets scenario. There's deportations. There's just all these stories. Like there's just
birthright citizenship.
It's just so much, right? So, as I said, I've lived here for 20 years, and I feel like I've come up and we've spoken about this. I've spoken to you. I've spoken to a number of our friends, whether they be immigrants themselves or American citizens, and we've spoken about this. The new thing now is that there's going to be a mass deportation in January as soon as the new administration comes in, and how much that is going to cost the American taxpayer. Let's be straightforward.
Let's be frank.
Let's be frank. It's going to be us, the American taxpayer, who have to fork the bill. So for me, I'm like, I'm sure there's a better solution to this, because at the end of the day, we may deport everybody that is not allowed to be here. Okay. But when we do that, and I'm speaking about this as an entrepreneur and as someone who owns a business, we are going to be putting a massive gap.
A
massive strain in work like the hospitality realm, hotels, restaurants, bars, entertainment, in terms of the hospitality. Because when I say entertainment, I'm talking about the person who cleans the theater after the show. There aren't a lot of people who want to do that. And I'm going to, mind you, speak as someone who lives in San Francisco, who lives in the states of California. And as I live in San Francisco, there are a few theaters in San Francisco. And the people who clean up these theaters are immigrants, people that work in a vast majority of restaurants and hotels are immigrants. And I don't want to sound as if I'm that person who's like, oh, so you just want cheap labor. Mind you, in California, that's not the case. That is not the case. Everybody has to get paid the stipulated amount.
The minimum wage.
The minimum wage. Whether you are illegal or legal or white or black or green or purple. When you work in these sectors, we will literally get a fine if they find out we are not paying you the minimum wage, which now is almost $20.
Well, yes, in San Francisco, we pay.
In San Francisco,
people are demanding $20.
Precisely. And it doesn't matter what sector it is, whether it be childcare, hospitality, we need to pay them, and we have to, or else we will get sued.
And again, what you need to also understand is that we are speaking from our own experience in San Francisco. I'm not
Right.
talking about Daly City. I'm not talking about San Mateo. I'm talking about San Francisco. So don't come say, oh, in my city. Yeah, am I in your city? I'm not in your city. So
Yeah.
don't come and say, oh, in my city, this is this and this. We again talking about our experience in San Francisco. In San Francisco, again, we work in the catering industry. Most of the people in the catering industry are immigrants, and these immigrants are not getting paid less than $18 an hour.
No.
Some of them are getting paid up to $25 an hour.
Yep.
And one of the reasons is that we have a labor shortage. So when you have a labor shortage, you're stealing other owners' people. So
Yeah.
you're going to find this person, you're going to suss them out and like, ooh, this person knows how to work. So what happens? So how much they paying you? I can pay you $20, $21 an hour. That's
Yeah.
how desperate some of us are in this. And most of the people that stay and stick and are loyal to you are immigrants.
Yeah. That's so
And
true.
mind you, I've seen a lot of new entrepreneurs. They come in with a whole American team.
Mm-hmm.
How many years have we been in this industry? Since
14.
2013. And you and I have seen it with our own eyes,
Yeah.
right? We work in a commissary kitchen, so we see a
Mm-hmm.
lot of
Businesses.
catering businesses. We all share a space, and we see a lot of businesses come in brand new, and they come in with a full-on American team. They hear, I'm like, I'm just hiring Americans and only Americans. And a month later, they start filling up those Americans with who? With immigrants.
Immigrants.
Why? Because the Americans are leaving the job. They come in and they don't realize how much work it entails.
It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work working in catering. They don't understand, and then they're not coming to work or they just quit. So what ends up happening is the person is going to get whoever comes in, and they're going to ask Maria. Maria brings her cousin in. And
Yeah.
Maria's cousin is running your departments and teaching everybody else. Maria's cousin taught you how to make rice in the oven, okay? So that is the whole thing here, guys. And we're talking from San Francisco's perspective, what we
Yeah.
experience in San Francisco. Many of you may have experienced something different. A lot of Americans are very good in the administration part of the business.
Right. That is true.
I'm not going to lie. They're very good at the administration, very good at bringing in business, very good at walking around and making sure that you got more catering orders, very good in setting your menu up, but they are not good at preparing the
At the
food.
physical.
What physical is not something that they like to do.
No.
They want to be put on the computer, right?
Yeah,
They want
that
to
is
pressing
true.
those keys on the computer and getting paid for that. So,
But in the physical, though, that's a
yes,
different story because it takes a toll on you, because you got to go shopping. I mean, now we obviously have delivery systems, but even if you look at the deliveries, it's mainly immigrants that are working in these delivery systems, delivering
they're
your
working on
food.
the ground. They work.
Administration that's about to leave did do a little bit of a mess up. They messed it up a little bit there.
How?
I hate to use the word illegal, but that's what it's called, right?
Okay.
Illegal immigrants come in, and then Americans got very upset because they were hearing stories about how they were getting vouchers and their hotels being paid for, food being paid for, and them living in hotels for 6 months and stuff like that. Right? So there was a lot of that in the news. And so
But
people
that's
got
not true.
upset because we were going through a pandemic, and a lot of Americans felt like they were being left behind by the administration that's about to leave.
But that's not true, though. They were only giving them accommodation for 72 hours while they were going through their immigration proceedings. And then after that, they were basically handed over to a relative or a friend.
It was that easy. So you come in without the necessary paperwork, you get accommodation for 72 hours, and then they let you go.
Yeah, I guess that was how it was going on. And I get where you're coming from with this. But again, I'm going to say this.
They wouldn't have let me go in 2004 if I didn't have the necessary paperwork to be at the airport when I was being checked. Right? If I didn't have the necessary paperwork, they would have deported my beautiful bum back to South Africa.
I know.
So they didn't deport these people. They just whoop-de-woo, do your own
Okay.
thing.
Yeah, but you must understand something, right? Right now, people are running away from war-ridden countries. They're running away from gang-ridden countries, and you came from you came here, because you wanted to explore. You weren't running away from a gang-ridden country, so you had the ability and the means.
So have we vetted to actually see if what they are saying is actually true? Or is it just hearsay?
I honestly don't know. Maybe someone has the answer for you. Maybe they are vetting them. I don't know. But I
Oh,
understand the
well,
American. I
oh,
do.
you
And
don't know.
yeah, I don't. I mean, I can't claim to know it when I don't know it. What I know is that they did give them, accommodation for 72 hours, which would have never happened in my case.
No.
When I came here, it never did. And a lot of immigrant stories say, listen, I came here with a $50 and I made
Yeah.
it happen. Maybe it's true for these people that are coming in now. Maybe they are coming with $100 or $200 and they're going to make it happen in America.
So my question is though, Wendy. Okay, so you came through you walked wherever from. How does it work? Like you take a plane to Mexico and then start moving through?
Yes, I know Chinese immigrants, they take a plane, they'll fly into Mexico, and then they start, walking through to the American border. And then some people from South America will like maybe walk because it's kind of connected. And then some people from Africa will fly into Mexico and then take their journey from there, and they'll walk to either to Canada or US.
And then what? I'm sure this is not free though.
I don't know. I mean, again, I said like me, I'm very fortunate that we didn't have to do that. We were very fortunate that we came here. We had the ability to come here the right way, and
I
we were
guess South
vetted.
Africans, I don't think I've ever heard of a South African doing that. I guess
I
we're too
mean,
scared.
I think so. I mean, I think we are too scared to be like. But again, we never know. We never know. There are some South Africans seeking asylum for what I don't know, but they do it.
But
Um,
the thing is, though, the thing is, right, let's be serious now. I know we were just mucking about and making this a joke, but on a serious note, though, like you said, I know you're going to come back at me and say, but you come from a space of privilege. 100%. I understand my privilege. Okay. And I should also have empathy on the fact that others have a different from me. They're going through a different experience than I did. And I get that point. However, I know for sure that that's not free. You're paying someone to get you here. I saw a video online about this couple from Colombia that went through that way, like crossed the border. And they were busy filming themselves doing this, talking about how they're going to come to make money in the US. They own a house in Colombia and they're going to be, they send money back home. Yeah, good for them. But they were glamorizing it and what they paid and yada, yada, yada. Okay. Which then makes immigrants that have to come here the right way
pissed off.
upset. Upset because they're going, wait a minute. I had to struggle. I went to the US embassy, got my visa, had to pay for that. Bought my tickets, came into the US, okay? Did the necessary things the right way, the right steps that I took, which in most cases cost thousands of dollars, let's be honest. Whenever you change your visa, right, you got to pay for that. That's not free,
Or
right?
update your visa.
Or update your visa, you got to pay for that. Or changing your status to green card, it's almost close to $7,000 because most of us just decide to use a lawyer in order for them to fill out the paperwork for us.
Sometimes up to
Sometimes
10.
up to $10,000. So that's quite a bit of money that we have to fork out,
Mm-hmm.
and then we do it the right way. Some people might, what's the right way? What makes you think you did it the right way? Yeah, I did it the legal way. All that money, and then all of a sudden, others come in and they're given free vouchers.
Yeah, no, they weren't given free vouchers. They were just given 72
Yeah,
hours
yeah,
of
yeah. But then
accommodation.
let go. But then let go.
Yeah, they were let go because, I mean, they were given,
They
they
would
were,
have, like I said to you, in 2004, they would have deported my pretty bum
I
back to
understand.
South Africa
I
if I
mean,
came here
not just
without the necessary
2004.
paperwork.
I mean, I
Right?
understand it. I do understand it. And I do get it from an immigrant that came here the right way's point of view. And it is frustrating because you find that some of these people, especially in this outgoing administration, how they, were allowed to be here, I
I
get
have a
it.
theory. I have a theory, and I know you are the type of person who really doesn't like my theories, but I have
Yes.
a theory. Right? I
Yes.
have a
Tell me your
theory on
theory.
this. Right. My
Yes.
theory on why they did this was because in their minds and the polls that showed who was going to win, they were under the assumption that they were definitely going to win this. Right. And while they were busy just letting everybody nilly-willy in and letting them go like free birds, they were under the assumption that, oh, because this is what they really mentioned, a pathway to citizenship. But they were
Hmm.
only doing this to the immigrants that just newly came in.
Really?
Yes.
Oh,
Right?
wow. Okay.
Because you got to remember, the new ones that were only coming in now, unlike the old ones who've been living here for years, understand what is really going on in the US. The new ones that they wanted to give these pathway to citizenship were people that were going to be at their beck and call. Oh, thank you, madam. Thank you, sir, for giving us your pathway to citizenship into America.
So what would have
Right?
happened to the immigrants that have been here for years?
Nobody spoke about that.
So they were talking about the new immigrants,
They were only talking.
these ones.
They were only talking about the new immigrants, and this is what really made a lot of people mad, especially immigrants that could vote. Because if you look at how the new administration is coming in, they won a majority through immigrants that were newly citizens. Because those immigrants were like, oh hell no, you didn't. I still have family waiting to come to the U.S. that have been waiting for 12 years to come into the U.S. Right? But now you're going to let these people that just came in nilly-willy a chance first. That's why they voted. They were like, no, 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 no. Not today, Susan.
Mm,
That is my theory.
I
Okay.
see. I see what you mean. Okay. Tell me Pam's solution to this. Is there a solution that, say, for example, they came to you and say, Pam, how can you solve this immigration problem? What would you do? What is it? Because no one seems to know how to solve this problem. But Pam, what would you do? How would you solve this issue?
Okay, so the thing is with me, I looked at it like this. There are two sides of this coin. There are immigrants that did it the right way, and then there are immigrants that came here illegally. The
And
immigrants
then there
that
are
did
also
it,
immigrants that came here legally, they were vetted, but have overstayed their visas.
and overstayed. You get two. Okay, so let's do it. Three types of people: the immigrant that came the right way,
Yes.
the immigrant that came the right way but overstayed their visa,
Uh-huh.
and then you get the immigrant that just crossed the border, no vetting,
Without
nothing,
being vetted. And
without being
so,
vetted.
but we can't really concentrate on the immigrant that did it the right way, because the immigrant that did it the right way is probably a citizen today or a green card holder.
Yes, 100% they are. However, though,
Oh,
however, though,
but there are some still waiting to get their green
there
cards.
are still some waiting to get their green cards. There are still some waiting for their number to be called, because there's a long list of family immigrants, people waiting, citizens waiting for their families. There's even a case now of this American guy that's married to a Nigerian woman, but she just can't come into the US,
Why
even
is
though
that?
they are married, because they got married outside the US and she's waiting for some sort of interview. So they have to meet each other in Canada or elsewhere. So he has to go visit her every month to Canada or wherever else that he's visiting, Mexico, the one time they met in Mexico. So there are a lot of those people waiting for their wives and their husbands to come to the US, but they're still waiting. Okay, moving forward, now you've get the illegal just moseying on in. Mosey, right on in. Deporting a whole bunch of immigrants, illegal immigrants. I feel like that's not a solution, because we will be losing so much money. It's going to cost us a shitload of money.
So,
Right?
can I say something? Right.
Yes.
So, let's keep your solution. I know I asked you the question.
Right.
So I'm thinking, let's keep your solution for now and come back on our next part 2 immigration. Since we are running out of time, let's come back to our part 2 of immigration, where we'll talk about your solution and what you think can be done to solve the immigration problem. Let's do it that way.
Okay.
And because we spoke about the immigration, we spoke about our 2 cent pieces about immigration. But now in part 2, we're going to talk about Pam's solution to this immigration problem, since Madam knows a lot. Alrighty then. So, people, join us on part two on Drunk on Politics Immigration. Alrighty then. Thank you so much for listening to part one, Drunk on Politics Immigration, part one, and join us for part two. Thank you very much. I'm Wendy Drew.
And I'm Pamela Drew, and thank you for listening to Drunk on Politics.
Bye.
Bye.